guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming this look for you, which is a look using the Morphe 35T palette. If you've seen my last video, you would have seen that I did a full swatch and review of this 35 pan eyeshadow palette, which is probably one of the most beautiful pieces of makeup I own. Aesthetically, packaging wise, not so great, but it's what's on the inside that counts. So if you want to see how I created this look, then just keep watching. First up, I'm going to be priming my skin using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, the smoothing primer. And as always, I'm going to be taking that down and along my T-zone. Then for my base today, I'm going to be using Nars Sheer Glow, and I'm using the shade Barcelona. Right, moving on to my brows, I'm going to be using Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I'm using the shade Medium Brown. And I kind of start with kind of brushing through my brows, which are very much on the sparse side of things. And then I go in with the pencil end, which definitely needs replacing. Then I'm going to move on to my eyes, and I'm going to start by priming them first, and I'm going to be using the Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. And then I'm going to set all of that in place using Makeup Geek's Vanilla Bean, which I've got in this palette here. And it's just kind of a matte vanilla shade. I'm going to be using the Morphe 35T palette, which if you've seen my review, I did a review in the last video, and now I'm going to be showing you some of the eyeshadows in action. I'm going to start off with this shade here. This is going to be my transition shade. I'm going to take this and apply it straight into the crease, but it doesn't have to be neat, just getting the colour on there. And then I like to keep a clean fluffy blending brush on standby, so that I can go in basically after each eyeshadow step and just kind of make sure everything's really smooth. And back in with the clean blending brush. Right, then I'm going to go in with an all over the lid shade, and I'm going to be using this really interesting and unique looking eyeshadow, and it's the third one, the first one in the third row. It's got green in the eyeshadow, it's also got kind of a really earthy kind of red to it as well, so it keeps the green quite neutral, so it's still kind of very wearable. And I'm going to use this shade all over my mobile part of the lid. And as you can see, I'm just kind of staying nicely under my crease. Then, because I want to obviously smooth out that top edge of that shadow we just put down, because it's very kind of harsh and messy, but also to kind of define the crease further and make everything look a bit more blended, I'm going to go in with a darker shade, kind of in the outside third, but also in the crease. I'm going to be using this kind of a mid to dark tone, slightly warmish. There's a ever so slight hint of like a reddiness to it, but still kind of remaining very neutral and earthy. I'm going to take that on a more slightly tapered brush, and I'm going to just focus it on the kind of outer third of the crease, and really kind of blending it in with that lid shade, but also the transition shade, kind of defining that crease. I'm also going to take it on the outermost part of the mobile part of the lid, so we get a bit of depth to the eyes. And then going back in with the brush that I used to apply the transition shade, I am going to just blend out that dark brown we just placed down, so that it's blended in quite seamlessly together. When you think you've blended enough, just blend a little bit more. Then I'm going to go in and curl my lashes. So I've been kind of reaching for my Maybelline My Studio Lasting Drama Gel Liner 24 Hours. I'm going to do just a kind of small wing not really into doing kind of big bold liner. I'm going to move on to giving the lashes a coat of mascara, and I'm going to be using the L'Oreal False Lash Architect 4-Dimension Effect Fibers Waterproof Mascara. Then I'm going to go in and tightline my waterline. I'm just going to sharpen my eye of horror. And I'm just going to sharpen my eye of horrors pencil and just line my top waterline. I think lining your top waterline makes a world of difference. And for lashes today, I'm going to be using Fleur de Force's Simply Fleur eyelashes. She's collaborated with Eyeshadow to kind of create her own designs. Then I think I'm just going to give my lashes another coat of mascara, just to kind of help bind the false lashes together with my real lashes. Then I'm going to just highlight my brow bone, and for that I'm going to be using Makeup Geek's Shimmer. I'm going to move on to the under eye concealing before I finish off the bottom of the eyes, and I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Conceal High Definition Concealer, and I'm using the shade Creamy Beige because this has got a slight peachy undertone to it. It really helps kind of counteract that purple bluey shade. I also want to kind of highlight and brighten the under eye area, so I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin concealer, and using the Morphe G2 I'm going to start to blend all of that in. To set the under eye concealer, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and I love using this brush to help set that under eye area. You can see that it's got a very pointed, tapered head, so it really gets into that inner corner. I'm going to go in with a smudger brush, and I'm going to use that shade that we applied all over the lid, so that kind of reddy greeny shade, and I'm going to run that along the kind of whole bottom lash line. Then I'm going to take that kind of reddish brown matte shade that we applied in the crease, and I'm going to take that along the outermost part of my bottom lash line. To really define that bottom lash line, I want to use the Zoeva Graphic Eyes eyeliner, and this is in the shade Rock and Roll Bride, and it's a dark brown, but it's got like flecks of red kind of sparkle glitter in it. I know it sounds a bit awful, but I think it's really kind of pretty and really go with the red tones in that eyeshadow that we've got in the eyes. I'm going to take the liner on the tip of this brush and just apply that mainly on the outer part of the bottom lash line. I think I'm going to soften that out slightly with the kind of slightly less dense smudger brush, and just kind of blend that brown in with the eyeshadows a bit more because it's a bit harsh at the moment. I'm going to run the first transition shade that we applied to the eye, so it's this second one here. I'm just going to run that along the bottom of the under eye just to kind of blend out that dark eyeshadow we've got. Then of course going in with mascara on the bottom lashes. Right, then I'm going to go on to concealing the rest of the face, and I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this is in the shade 10. I'm just going to take that mainly around my nose, on either side of my mouth, and the chin. And taking a damp beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that all out. And also going to highlight the kind of centre of my forehead with the Smashbox Step by Step contour stick, and this is the highlighting shade. Taking the same beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that out. Right, then I'm going to set the concealer and that highlight in place, and I'm going to be using the Bourjois Healthy Balance Powder, and this is in the shade 53 Beige Clear. And I'm also going to quickly run a little bit of the same powder over my cheeks before I go in with contour and bronzing. Today for my contour, I'm going to be using my Kevyn Aucoin, the Sculpting Powder in the shade Medium. The reason why I'm not using my Kat Von D Shade Light palette was because I'd broken the contour shade. so I don't have any of the contour shade left. So I thought I'd use this one today, and look what's happened. I swear I am totally jinxed. And that's a really kind of a nice shadow light grey. Sometimes I like to kind of define my chin because I don't really have much of a chin. So I kind of take that contour powder just slightly either side of my chin, not taking it out too much. Then to bronze up and add some warmth to my complexion, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in this shade, Radiant Bronze Light. Then to contour my nose, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Step by Step Contour Stick in the shade Contour. Just going to take a small amount of that product on a small brush. Take it down and along the bridge of my nose, slightly more towards the middle, just to create the illusion of a slimmer nose. And I like to go in with a slightly more bigger brush just to kind of soften that out and make it look a little bit more natural. And then I'm going to set that in place using the same Kevyn Aucoin, the sculpting powder. I like to follow up with a slightly more bigger and fluffier brush and just kind of sweep gently over that nose contour, just to soften the product out and make it look natural. Before we go into blush, I'm going to add some highlight to the tops of my cheekbone, and I'm trying not to use a champagne pop every single tutorial, but I am using another Becca one, and it's the Shimmering Skin Perfector Press in the shade Opal. I'm going to take a highlight down the centre of my nose just to balance the contour out, and I'm using the highlight shade from the Smashbox Step by Step Contour Stick. Just going to take a very small amount because, again, little goes a long way. And then I'm just going to take my ring finger, you can take a brush if you want, and just literally patting my finger on top of that product, and it's already just blended in. And to set that in place, I'm just going to take the same Bourjois Healthy Balance powder and just any brush. I'm using an eyeshadow brush. I'm just literally going to dust it on the top of that. Then I'm going to go in with some blush. I think I'm going to use the shade Mood Exposure from this Ambient Lighting Blush palette. And this is a kind of a plummy, taupey kind of blush, but it looks just so kind of natural and understated on the cheeks. Before we move on to lips, I'm going to quickly add a little bit of Inner Corner highlight to the eyes. I'm going to use the shade Shimmer Shimmer from Makeup Geek. And then for my lips, first of all, I'm going to line them with my favourite MAC lip liner, and this is in the shade Soar. For my lips, I'm going to be using the latest addition to my MAC lipstick collection, and it's in the shade Meh. It's a matte pink shade. And then of course I'm going to finish off with a setting spray, and I'm back using the Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray. This is the oil control one. And this is the end result. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this look using eyeshadows from the Morphe 35T palette. And if you haven't subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe for more videos like this. And I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye!